If you watched the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That one play that changed everything for the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb, the team's star wideout, gets lined up in an unusual spot, takes a handoff on what looked like a gadget rushing play, and within moments, he's limping off the field with an ankle injury. The worst part, he tried to come back, but it was clear the injury wasn't letting him go, and the team had no choice but to rule him out. Fans erupted instantly on social media, and it didn't take long for former Cowboys like Jesse Holley to voice their own frustration. Everyone's asking the same question. Why put your top weapon at that kind of risk on a play that wasn't necessary? This wasn't just an unfortunate accident. It was the kind of play that makes fans scratch their heads and question the decision-making process. On one hand, creative play calls can spark big moments. On the other, you're talking about a guy who carries the team's offense every single week. And when he's sidelined because of a risky gadget play, the frustration is understandable. Social media lit up with criticism, memes, and take after take about how the team's approach to using CeeDee on that play might have cost them more than just yards. Now, I want to hear from you, because this is where it gets interesting. Do you think using CeeDee on that play was worth the risk? Type yes or no in the comments right now. I want to see where the fan base stands. And while you're at it, hit the like button if you'll never want to see him used like that again, because this is exactly the kind of moment that sparks heated debate in Cowboys circles. But don't worry, we're not stopping here. In this video, we're going to break down everything. The offensive decisions, the defensive breakdowns, the quarterback turnovers, and what this loss means for the Cowboys moving forward. If you want more straight-up reactions and detailed analysis, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to hit 16,000 subscribers, and every single one of you helps us get there. So strap in, because we're just getting started, and by the end of this video, you'll have the full picture of what went wrong, why fans are so frustrated, and what the team needs to do to bounce back. Now that we've seen the play that sparked all the outrage, let's put it into context and really understand why it looks so bad. The Cowboys had Javonte Williams carrying the ball effectively all night. He's proven he can handle the workload, gain yards consistently, and keep the offense moving. So why risk your top wide receiver on a gadget play that's not even necessary? That's exactly what fans and analysts are asking, and it's hard to argue with them. The logic is simple. If your running back is performing, don't complicate things by using a player who's your number one offensive weapon in a situation that exposes him to injury. And the reactions online have been brutal. Jesse Holley, a former Cowboy himself, didn't hold back on X, pointing out how questionable it was to put Lamb in that spot. Fans echoed the sentiment, criticizing the coaching staff for overthinking and overcomplicating the offense. This isn't just about a single play. It's about optics, risk management, and respecting your roster. Every decision gets amplified when it affects a player as crucial as CeeDee, and this one hit all the wrong notes. It's also worth mentioning how these decisions affect the flow of the game. When your top receiver is out, suddenly the entire offensive strategy has to adjust. Routes get changed, defensive attention shifts, and quarterbacks have fewer reliable targets. That kind of disruption can snowball quickly, especially against a team that's already playing well. Like the Bears, it's not just a physical risk for Lamb, it's a strategic risk for the whole offense. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Would you bench the play caller for taking that gamble? Or do you think creativity is worth a little risk? Type yes or no in the comments, and let's see what the community thinks. And for a little fun, try to sum up your hot take in just 3 words. I guarantee some of your responses will be hilarious. At the end of the day, this play has everyone talking because it represents the bigger tension in the Cowboys' approach: creativity versus caution. We'll break down more of the fallout soon, including how the defense struggled and what went wrong with the quarterbacks. But for now, make sure you subscribe if you want to see every play, every breakdown, and every reaction explained in real time. This is exactly the kind of analysis you can't miss if you're following the Cowboys this season. All right, now that we've covered the offensive misstep with CeeDee Lamb, let's shift our focus to the defense. Because, make no mistake, this game wasn't lost solely on that one play. The Bears were moving the ball consistently, gaining chunk yards on nearly every drive, and converting key third downs with ease. In fact, they converted 8 out of 13 third downs, and their average yards per play was nearly 7. That's not just bad luck. That's a defense that couldn't get off the field when it mattered most. Matt Eberfliss's defense has shown flashes before, but games like this highlight the vulnerabilities. Coverage busts, missed assignments, and a lack of pressure on the quarterback combined to give the Bears time to dissect the secondary. And it wasn't only the passing game. The run defense was porous, allowing critical gains that kept drives alive. When a defense struggles in all three phases, rush, pass, and situational execution, it puts the offense under immense pressure, especially when you've already lost a star receiver. This isn't just a one-off problem either. Patterns like this suggest systemic issues that need attention. Fans are noticing, analysts are pointing it out, and you can feel the frustration growing. It's the kind of performance that makes you wonder if the adjustments on the sidelines are coming too late, or if the scheme needs more than just personnel tweaks to be effective. Now, I want to ask you, if you were calling the defense next game, what would you change first? More blitzes to force mistakes, or more disciplined coverage to limit big plays? Type blitz or cover in the comments. I'm curious to see which strategy you think could turn things around. And don't forget, if you want detailed breakdowns like this after every tough game, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're building a community that dives deep into every play, every mistake, and every moment that matters. Trust me, you don't want to miss our next breakdown because the way the defense is trending could be the difference between a rebound and another tough loss. Now let's talk about the offense again, but this time from the turnover perspective, because this was another big factor in the loss. Dak Prescott had a rough night, throwing 2 interceptions that stalled drives and handed the Bears momentum at critical points. And then, later in the game, Joe Milton came in, trying to spark something, and he threw a 3rd interception. Each turnover didn't just cost yards. It disrupted the rhythm of the offense and put the defense in tough situations. When your QBs are turning the ball over like that, even the best defensive adjustments can't fully compensate. It raises questions about decision-making and game management. Are these mistakes a matter of miscommunication, poor reads, or just bad luck? Probably a mix of all three. But what's clear is that turnovers amplify every other issue. The defense is tired. Your top players are trying to cover more ground, and momentum swings completely. And against a team that's as opportunistic as the Bears, you can see why those mistakes are so costly. Beyond the X's and O's, there's also the question of confidence. Dak is a proven performer, but consecutive turnovers like this can affect timing and trust with his receivers. Joe Milton, coming off the bench, didn't exactly help the narrative either. It's a tough situation for any QB, and it puts the coaching staff in a delicate position. Do you protect Dak more, or keep riding him to keep the offense moving? Here's where I want your opinion. Should the coaches be more protective of Dak, giving him a lighter load, or keep riding him because he's the guy who can win games? Type YES if you think he needs protection. No if you trust him to keep carrying the offense. And while you're thinking about that, drop a grade for the QB performance in the comments. From A to F, let's see how the fan base really feels. These turnovers highlight a larger truth. The Cowboys' offense isn't invincible. And when mistakes pile up, the margin for error disappears fast. Later, we'll talk about what needs to change to prevent these kinds of games, both in play calling and strategy, so the team can bounce back stronger. But first, your thoughts. I want to hear them. So, after breaking down the offense, the gadget play, and the defensive struggles, the big question becomes, what needs to change moving forward? First off, the coaching staff has to be smarter about risk management. CeeDee Lamb is the centerpiece of this offense, and using him in a play that exposed him to injury was avoidable. Protecting your star players doesn't mean limiting creativity, but it does mean making calculated choices. Every decision has a ripple effect, and this one showed how quickly things can unravel. On defense, the adjustments have to come fast. Missed tackles, blown coverages, and failure to get off the field on third downs can't continue. Matt Eberflus's scheme has the potential, but execution is falling short. Whether it's more discipline in coverage, smarter blitz packages, or better rotation to keep players fresh, something has to change. Otherwise, these types of losses will pile up, and the team will find itself in the same frustrating position week after week. Turnovers are another area where accountability has to be emphasized. Dak and Joe Milton both had their struggles, and while mistakes happen, they can't be repeated in the same scenarios. The coaches need to balance trust with oversight, making sure the QBs feel confident, but not overexposed to situations that lead to unnecessary mistakes. It's a delicate line, but one the team has to walk to stay competitive. Here's where you come in. I want you to share your three-point plan in the comments. What would you fix first if you were calling the shots for the Cowboys? Be specific, whether it's a change in play calling, defensive alignment, or protecting Lamb. I want to hear your ideas. This is the kind of discussion that makes our community great, and your perspective matters. Finally, if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We're pushing to reach 16,000 subscribers, and with your support, we can keep breaking down every play, every loss, and every highlight in real time. Smash the like button too, so we know you want more detailed analysis like this. The Cowboys have work to do, and we'll be here covering it every step of the way, giving you the insights that matter. So that wraps up our breakdown of what went wrong, why fans are frustrated, and what needs to change. The team has challenges ahead, but with smart adjustments and accountability, there's every reason to believe they can bounce back. Stick around for the next video, because we'll keep diving into every twist, every play, and every move the Cowboys make.